Hey, Stoney here. I'm here with Clint Leewood, and this is Mechabellum Tournament. At the bottom here, we have Apooche playing as a elite specialist, and he is up against GophTheGreat playing as a supply specialist. Now, just looking at the board here, we have Tarantulas against Stormcallers. Now, how do you feel about that, Clint?
I am always in the position that when I pick tarantulas and I pan over my camera to the other person's board and see storm colors, I cry a little. It's usually pretty rough, especially because it's a spider fang, and both of those pretty typically do awful into storm colors. But I think what we're probably going to see here, right, is that it might be hard for Apooche as elite specialist to muster up enough single target damage to properly deal with maybe some of the pressure that Goff is going to be throwing at him. So we'll have to see how it turns out. But I mean, like pretty standard openers from both players, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. But one thing to note that everything, the one unit that's kind of holding everything together on Golf's board are these tarantulas. So he will need to have
Absolutely.
to protect it at all costs. Otherwise, these blue crawlers are just gonna walk in and slaughter every single chaff that's on his board.
Yeah, and it's also important to know that it actually takes 2 shots for a tarantula to kill a level 2 crawler. Level 2 crawlers have 584 health, and tarantulas do 580 damage. Not sure if that was intentional, but I believe it. I believe it.
Oh
It'd be
yeah.
probably pretty unplayable as an elite spec into quad tarantula start.
Well, it looks like the tarantula's jobs is just about done. Yep, got all the blue crawlers, but I don't think there's enough chaff left to get rid of the stone claws though.
No, not enough chaff, and they're still chomping through fangs over here.
Yeah, Stonecrawler, I've mentioned it over and over, and I still see people putting down marksman every time they see a tarantula. I was like, no, don't do marksman, do Stonecrawlers. They're just 5 times
Yep.
better than marksman.
Yep. Yeah, I my favorite like answer is to just like double down on something that would help my board scale. So like if if it's usually just double chaff in round one, and then round two, right? I like to skip whatever's usually presented, although nano is very hard to pass up here,
Mm-hmm.
and then go right into double stormcaller, unlock 50, double stormcaller 400, and usually that takes a lot of the pressure off that these tarantulas can present early on and with these 200 HP damage hits.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And yeah, and while we're talking about items, Nano will be excellent against tarantulas, but in this very specific situation, his module will actually be better because it makes the tarantulas walk a little bit faster and allowing them to dodge those Stonecaller rockets. And speaking of tarantulas, one of them were just got canned. We got a raid coming onto the board, serving as the exact same role as the tarantulas, the chaff clear. Um, but with no real anti-air coming from Apooche's board, that's going to be a kick in the face.
yeah, the real question now becomes, right, does this Wraith level? And I think it very well could. There's a lot of blue crawlers, sorry. There's a lot of blue crawlers for it to slurp up here. So it's going to be... This is spooky. I really feel like these early Wraiths, these like very quick pivots, are can really catch you on the back foot, right? And then sometimes, right, like if a wraith gets just too far ahead, it's like it almost requires a melter to be dealt, to deal with it properly.
Oh, for
So
sure. Yeah, very, very quick pivot here from Goff. Just kind of keep Apooche on his toes, but when you have a raid down, is they're open to a very quick counter with anti-air marksman, kind of preventing it from leveling up
true.
further. And once you get rid of the Wraith, ooh, and here we have the Phoenixes coming in, immediately gets picked up by Apooche.
Windmill slammed him.
Hmm. I wonder if that's going to be the same pick for Goff. Probably not, because he does have a bit of a chaff clear problem on the left-hand side.
I wonder if we might see Sabretooth AM and the other spider, and then Fire Badger. Fire Badger is also very good, right? Addresses the chaff clear issue that you're talking about. especially since it's flanking on the right.
Yeah, except on the left though, there's not gonna be any chaff clear because these phoenixes are just gonna pick off the wraith.
One shot.
Yeah, and you got what, a squad of fangs to deal with 2 squads of blue crawlers? Yeah. Good luck with that. I was actually gonna say the Sabertooth might have been an even better choice. I've seen plenty of Sabertooth Tarantula games where they kind of cover each other's weaknesses and both being super tanky units kind of forming this line. Yeah, the Fire Badger, curious. I'm not sure if that's the best decision, especially now with the Phoenix there.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's exactly what I was going to point out, right? That we're going to have units phasing in at lower HPs, and these Phoenixes are going to walk over and probably kill, I would imagine, 2 out of the 3 before they phase in properly. Like, I think if Strike Spec was offered up in the earlier rounds and it was grabbed, like, this could be a fine play. But I think this just hurts us more than it helps us. And then, yeah, look at these Phoenixes about to drop this Wraith. Oof. And it's gone.
And it's gone. And now there's nothing for Chapley on the other side. And coming back here, I mean, things... got the tower from those Phoenix.
So I was wrong. These Phoenixes took a minute to chew through these Badgers and only got 1.
Level 3 Badgers are quite tanky. I mean, they have 17,000
17,000 per. Jesus.
That's a lot of HP. Hey, you know what? Goth might not be out of this just yet. We still have tons of HP. We got tons of chaff just coming in, but no, this blue claw is going to seal the deal there.
Yep.
I would say overall, I think it was a pretty devastating round for Goff, even though in terms of HP, it's not too bad. But right now, he's got 2 problems he has to deal with. One is the Phoenix on this side, but he can't really get rid of the Wraith because of the chaff clear that he needs.
Yep. So he either can sell out of the Wraith and then go into like Fire Badger. I don't know. It's weird, right? I sort of wish what I saw instead, right, was this like, I think we were talking about it in the round previous when there was a unit drop, is this idea of like Tarantula, Sabertooth. I think that would be really just straight up decent, right? And you have the Phoenixes in the back kind of doing the marksman thing. And I don't know. It's very hard for me to make a cohesive board here for Goff. I really feel like he's trying to like redline the pressure, and Apooche is not feeling the pressure, so it doesn't really seem to be doing a whole lot. And like, look, even Apooche now is just solidifying the tower defense by putting a 120,000 HP giant in front of it, saying, "All right, come and get my tower if you really want." Like, it's going to be very tough to crack that.
Oh yeah. One thing I want to point out is that the crawlers on the left flank. So normally when people want to add crawlers to distract those Phoenixes, the first instincts that you want to have that you have is just have the crawlers behind the Wraith, and the crawler runs forward and gets the Phoenix. But the problem with that sort of setup is that your storm crawlers will be shelling them from afar. Now with the crawlers coming in from the left flank, it's going to hold them down a lot longer. With really only the blue crawlers is able to take care of those side flank. Now, looking at the board here, I had the craziest idea. I was going to say he could probably commit into Wraith, seeing how little chaff clear there is on Apooche's board. Take range on the Wraith, right? Put another Wraith on the flank with those crawlers, so when all the chaff gets pulled over, the Wraith would take care of the chaff, and ranged Wraith actually do decent against Phoenixes.
Interesting. Maybe a little rewind video? Huh?
Could be.
No, I think it's an interesting idea, right? Because if the Wraith player ever techs degen, you're almost forced to click range on your Phoenixes to keep them out of the degen aura. And yeah, things could get really weird with range and degen, like hard committing into Wraiths. Apooche and Goff both going for underground threat.
I think it's gonna work in favor of Goth here, just because he has a little bit more chaff here.
Ooh.
Replicate into 2 level 2 Vulcans, so I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend any money on Crawler Tech if I already see Vulcan or blue Vulcans on the board here.
Yeah, this sort of feels like what I was talking about earlier with Goff trying to redline the pressure, right? He's trying to make Apooche uncomfortable and hit him from all sides. And I think it
Ooh,
yeah, this feels like a weird pivot too, right? Are
very
you talking
weird.
about the Tarantula pivot? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if because Tarantula plays directly into the Stormcallers, right? Going to Wraith moves away from Stormcallers, forcing your opponents to eventually sell them because you have a lot
Yeah.
of crawlers. But now you're kind of back into your opponent's strength, so I'm not sure if the Tarantula is the right move here.
What would you have gone instead?
I'm surprised that he didn't take Improved Sandworm. He could totally pivot into a Worm Wraith. Improved Sandworm is they're big units. Let's just put it that way. And with only a few Phoenixes to gun down that Sandworm, he could get a huge tempo advantage with that combo.
Absolutely. Do you think it would be like a worm ball push at this point?
Not necessary yet, because the only big units right now are these Vulcans, and they aren't really doing that much damage to the Worm.
Sure.
If you can get DGen Being and just cut down the essentially the HP by 30% with DGen Being, the Worm should be able to bring down the Vulcan fairly quickly.
Interesting. Yeah, I was thinking Stormcallers on the line. Just like some very aggressively placed Stormcallers and see how that goes.
Ooh, that Vulcan is healing. But with the debuff, they will get it. Yes? No? No, they're not gonna get it.
He's going to heal the full.
It's gonna heal. It's gonna get the debuff. It's gonna heal all the way back.
Oh. Apooche comes out ahead there. Another amp core. Oh man, assault Stormcallers on the line. Hear me out. Let me cook. Yeah, I think it's just amp core here. What do you think on the cards?
Amcor on a Phoenix, maybe. It's a very weird board from Goph's side. I mean, I'm sure he's got a plan in mind, but right now he seems to be playing directly into Apooche's strong side, which is ground. Right now, Apooche is extremely strong on the ground. It's got fantastic chaff clear with his Vulcans. It's got additional damage with the Stormcallers that he can upgrade at any second. Lots of chaff on the ground and just a few Phoenixes in the air. So he's really just going heavy on the ground here and say, hey, you know what? I don't want the air. I'm going to go contest you on the ground. And I don't know if that's the right move.
Yeah, are you thinking like, is there any text needed for the Vulcans here? There's a part of me that wants to see like Scorch clicked, but I don't think that does a whole lot. Maybe range, but even then, I don't think that does a whole lot. I think the Vulcans are kind of just very happily cruising and killing as much chaff as they can.
I wouldn't mind range because now, especially the left side Vulcan, he doesn't have to walk as far to get to those fans at front. And now that with the melting point on there, like the less distance he has to walk, the better it's going to be because the blue claws all the way at the bottom is going to walk forward and tank for him. But it's not necessary, right? Because if you're going to get range on the Vulcan, you're going to have to get range on the Phoenixes. Otherwise, your Phoenixes would be exposed. So it is a bit of a commitment, though. Ooh, the Vulcan drop in the back corner. Getting the tower. Huge round for Apooche.
Yeah, Vulcan's descent was not respected. Goff wasn't really in a spot to respect it, right? This is kind of the nature of these like forward aggro positions, is that oftentimes the board behind is underdeveloped. So those spells like that's the Overlord one. Mobilized Battleship. There we go. Mobilized Battleship, Vulcan's Descent can really cause a lot of mayhem back there, and getting an early tower is, a prime example of that. Free units though. What's catching your eye for Goff and Apooche?
see here. Yeah, the fortress makes sense for Goth because he can always click AA to get rid of his phoenixes, and then you have your level 3 phoenixes kind of dominating. I will probably go with the same for Apooche too, because right now these level 3 phoenixes on the side has no real answer. He is going with the Mustangs. I guess it makes sense.
That's where my head was at too.
Yeah, because right now the only chaff clear are these 2 tarantulas, and they are getting picked off pretty early. So 2 different approaches to dealing with phoenixes. One, we got AA already on the fortresses, and then on the other side we have Mustang with no tech just yet. Scourge gets picked up for Vulcan. That's interesting. What do you think of that?
I love it. I would love to see range get picked up on these Mustangs, Scorch get picked up, and then Phoenixes get range. I love it. I think this is like there's a lot of combos out there that are like a giant X or giant Mustang or Mustang X giant character, except like maybe Sandworm, right? And typically what you see is either Melter Mustang or Fort Mustang. But I really like this idea of Vulcan doing a bunch of damage, not relying so much on your Phoenixes, and allowing maybe the Mustangs to kind of come in and start stealing the show a little bit. Level 3 Mustangs off the bat, just getting those out of nowhere, not something to be disrespected. But the tower on the right goes down. Oh man.
Not taking Mustang range, I think was a mistake, or getting Phoenix range instead of Mustang range was a mistake, because right now the fortresses, they're getting so much value on these Phoenixes. I was watching the one on the left hand side, and it's just clear all the Phoenixes on its own. On the right hand side, it was a little bit weaker, but still getting so much value. Right now, the problem with these fortresses is that there's nothing between them and the army of Apooche, right? So the fans are quite a bit back, and the fortress can just walk up. And remember, all you need is 170. They nerfed it 170 meters before they can start shooting at his Phoenixes, and that's not a lot of distance.
No, and I've seen Goff at many points during this game click high mobility, the temp speed from the tower. So the reality is that these fortresses are running up and doing their business. And I apologize for my outburst earlier, but I saw ER Vulcan just show up on the pool, and Apooche windmill slammed that. And I'm going to be honest, this is a very classic now Vulcan Phoenix comp brought to you by 2023. And it's going to absolutely kill everything on this board.
See, that was a blessing from Bear-like. He was already going with Scourge, and now he's got range, and now he's got ER Vulcan with range. What do you even do against that?
You don't. I mean, maybe there's a world where you could turn them off with like EMP Phoenixes, but just watch how fast these Firebenders die on the right.
Like, if I were Goff, I would smash that EM Barrage button so hard and just drop down 3 more melting points. Don't even care about range. Just get EM Barrage. I mean, just look at that. Vulcan's taking down fortresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this
it's
game?
Brutal.
This is game.
This is very much game,
yeah. This is just when a game can swim like this, like, you gotta question whether or not that card is truly OP.
Yeah, I think right. Goff bloodied the nose of Apooche a little bit. Good on him. But Bear-like said, "Not today, son."
Oh boy. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I got another one that's even better. Check it out, and I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.